I'm Rav Nachman.
Oh, nice. You gave a better tip.
All right, Daf Mem Tesson Beis.
I'm Rav Nachman.
Like 6 lines from the bottom. Omar Rav Nachman. Chelev ha'osui kikoiva einu soisim. So, by the way, I wanted to mention yesterday, and I forgot to mention just a very cool fact in the animal that many of us don't know. We're talking about chelev. This is the animal. The animal has what is called a diaphragm that goes from here to here. It's literally a wall that separates the animal in half. It's a concrete wall. It's a diaphragm wall. This half has the heart and the lungs, and this half has all the kishkis and everything else. And from this point to here is where all the chelev is and is a problem. From the diaphragm forward, there's absolutely no problem with chelev. But it's a literal wall. You can't get from one end to the other. Only some pipes that have nice insulation around them, and they're in there nicely. But I thought it was a cool fact. This wall, it's a wall. Okay.
Where does
There's
the
a
wall
front
start?
This diaphragm, this wall, right here, this muscle, this diaphragm.
Is that the part that's from their back?
I wasn't so sure. I don't know, because it looks. I started counting the slice. If you look closely, that's where the 13th. It looks like the 13th cella is over here. So it could be because that's. It makes sense because that's where all the problems are from that point on. All the chelev that we're discussing.
Up to what? Rib number what?
I don't know, 11, 13. I don't know where he is. I think maybe 11. I don't know. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nהיה b'dvaro. Which rib of us?
Of Adam.
No, but it's a different amount, no?
No.
He's down. No, what is it?
That's it?
Yeah? So, chelev ha'osui koiva einu soisam. We're talking about fats here that are osur, that are mutter. We have a fat that's be'etzem mutter, it's tahar. And yesterday we said that tahar fat is soisam. Tahar fat plugs a hole. So over here you have chelev ha'osui koiva einu soisam. Even though it's tahar and it has the characteristics of, it should have the characteristics of plugging up a hole, but since it's made like a hat, like a helmet, it doesn't plug. So if there's a hole in the lung next to it, or in the heart or something, and it's there, and it should be able to plug, it doesn't plug. Heicha, where is this, where do we have a helmet-looking fat? Amrilo chite dikarkasha. So what is that? That's the final tube, so to speak, leaving the animal, also known as the rectum. Here it is. You have these little ball-like shapes of fat. These pieces do not create a plug. Says the Gemara, where else? Amri lo tarpisha deliba, or the fat on top of the heart. This is the heart, and this is the fat. Here you can see like this. So this kind of fat doesn't, even though it adheres to the heart and it has all the characteristics, it's krum, nikla, v'toitav, or not toitav, I don't know, al kopanim, this does not create a good plug. Omar Rava, Shamas minei Rav Nachman, I heard from Nachman Tarti, 2 things. Chimtza ubar chimtza. There's 2 types of fat. One is called chimtza, and one is called bar chimtza, the son of chimtza. Chad sosim v'chad li sosim. One is tahar, and it creates a plug. V'chad li sosim, and the other one is not tahar, does not create a plug. V'lo yidanu hi minayu. And I don't know which one is what. I don't know which one is tahar, which one is not. Ravuna bar chinanov, Ravuna bereder Rav Nachman Amri, bar chimtza sosim. It makes sense that the bar chimtza plugs and chimtza li sosim. And as the Gemara is going to say, that's basically how we learn, and we're going to see a lot more about this bar chimtza and chimtza. What is this? Omar Rav Tevus v'simonoch yof koyach habein mikoyach ha'av. There's a Mishnah in Shavuos that says that the son doesn't need a shvuah in certain situations, and the father does need a shvuah, is better off than the father. So the bar chimtza is better off than the chimtza, the father, in the fact that it could create a seal, and the father, the chimtza, can't create a seal. Hey chimtza v'hei bar chimtza, what is this? Toshmadam Rav Nachman, inu meichel ochli, the people in Eretz Yisrael, they can eat this fat, ulididan mistam nami lo yisasim. So Rav Nachman asks the kasha. He says there's a fat in Eretz Yisrael that we eat, the Bnei Eretz Yisrael eat. But in Bavel, not only don't they eat it, but they say it doesn't have the characteristics of kosher fat which seals. It doesn't make any sense. You want to be machmer on something, fine. But to say that it can't even close up a hole, that doesn't make sense. In other words, Rav Nachman is talking about the bar chimtza. The bar chimtza, which could be soyism, he's talking about the bar chimtza. And Mela, we know now that bar chimtza is the tar fat, and the chimtza is the not tar fat. Now, just as a, what are we talking about over here? So, if you look over here, just as this is real quickly, I'm going to show you a more detailed picture. So this is the keva. It's the fourth stomach. It's called the keva, right over here. It goes in this kind of shape. Now, if you look at this close up, what we have over here is a bow and arrow, a bow, a keshet. This is like a keshet, and this is chaylev. It's called the akashta, and then you have the yatra. It's the string of the arrow. This is more of an arrow shape, and this is the string going across. Okay, this is the bow, and this is the string. Says the Gemara.
Is it the same kind of fat or is it different?
It's different. Halachically, it's different. The akashta. What's the difference between the two of them? The akashta is not connected. The only place it's connected, and I didn't print out the picture, but there's a ridge here, right over here. There's a very, very narrow connection. In other words, it's connected throughout the whole thing, but only like, let's say, a centimeter. The whole entire akashta is not connected. It has like one little connection. Connected right over here to the upper, to top of it, to the keva. This is the keva right here, and this is the fat underneath the keva, the fat above the keva. So the kasha, that's the fat underneath the keva. Everybody agrees, since it's not mechubar, so even Rebbe Kiva, who says, we had yesterday, there's three characteristics of fat that's asur. We have krum, niklav, and toisav. Reb Shimon says you only need two out of those three. Rebbe Kiva says you need all three. What's krum, niklav? Krum is a membrane, niklav, that the membrane comes off easy. Toisav means it's just sitting on top of it like a dress, like a piece of clothing, but it comes right off. So since this comes right off, it's not mechubar. So everybody agrees that this is asur. It has all the characteristics, all three characteristics of fat, and memela it's asur. Kipligi, the yatra, for the top part, the one that looks like a string. Why? Because that is mechubar. So according to Rebbe Kiva, you have an issue. Since it's mechubar, it doesn't have all three characteristics. And Reb Shimon says, I don't need three characteristics. All I need is two characteristics. All I need is krum and niklaf, and memela it's still asur.
This fat has a membrane?
Yes. Here, you know what? I have a good picture. Hold on a second.
Is fat that's kosher called shuma, right?
Not necessarily. Here's a good picture of. Well, we're not talking about this really, but here is the whole, right? We had this picture yesterday. The whole fat comes off in one piece. This is taitav. Because it has a membrane. It has a membrane. How does it come off in one piece like that? Because it has one membrane underneath and it just peels right off like a plastic bag.
That's inside the basic crisis.
This is something else. This is the basic crisis over here. This was in the carrot.
Would it cut open or it's closed?
No, this is, you see this fat over here? There's the fat over here. They just peeled it right off here and they put it down just to show you that it comes off nicely. Just peels right off. According to Rebbe Kiva, this has all three characteristics of Krum, Niklav, Toisav, because it comes right off. So some people say no. That the ayatra, everybody holds that it's good chaylev. Why? Because it's mechuber. So everybody agree that, like Rebbe Kiva, everybody agreed to Rebbe Kiva that since it's mechuber, it is kosher. Ki pligi da kashta, but the whole machlokes happens by the kashta, the bottom one. Why? Because the kashta is somewhat problematic since it's mechuber, not mechuber. On the one hand, it's completely not mechuber, but it does have that one little tiny centimeter that goes across the whole thing that has some sort of chibur. So that is the machlokes. Is that considered enough chibur to consider it treif or not?
This is the one on.
Akash is the one on the bottom. The one that looks it has more curvature than the one on top. Says the Gemara, I take the tayatra, cut off a little bit of it. I peel off a little bit of the top of the ayatra. Why? Because look, the ayatra is touching the keva. And memela, I have to peel off just a little bit of it, and then I can eat the whole ayatra. So no, what is this called? The karev. What is this called? Maybe the karev. The karev, yeah? No, not intestines. Intestines was over here. The karev. What does Rashi say? Rashi talks about it. A karev shoychev olav zer. A karev, this is the karev. Says the Gemara, v'chein omer Rabbi Yali mishum zokin echad mikamtin. You got to take off a little bit of it. So you're getting karev mixed into the fat. Omer Rabbi Yali havekoyim nikamei the Rabbi kamtu v'havu leiva. I was sitting there by Rabbi and I saw him eating this fat, this ayatra fat. As long as they took off a little bit from the top, make sure there's no karev in there. Says the Gemara story. Shami de Rabbi Chanino have a koik hamei de Rabbi Chanino.
Why the karev is also?
Yeah, karev is also.
Chanina was in front of him.
Rabbi Chanino, no, the shamish of Rabbi Chanino was in front of him, his attendant. Omalei kumoitz havli deichol. So Rabbi Chanino tells his shamish, go take off a little bit so I could eat this fat, geshmak of fat. Chazi de have kol mechasim. He saw Rabbi Chanino noticed that the shamish was hesitant. He didn't want to do it. Omalei bavloat. You're probably from Bavel, and you don't want to do it. They discuss here. So what if he's from Bavel because he has the chumras of Bavel, or he didn't? It was also for maybe to serve it to Rabbi Chanina. He holds it saucer. You can't give it to him. Goyim shadi. So he told him, you know what? It's fine. Throw it all out. I'm fine. Tayr Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Oimer. B'nei ma'ayin shenikvu v'leichos eitamtem kshero. If you have intestines that have a hole in them, and there's some mucus that comes out from within the intestines and plugs it up, kshera. Ma'ilecha, what kind of mucus are we talking about? Amar Rav Kahana, shirka de mayo de nofek agav duchka. It has to be thick enough that it only comes out under a lot of pressure, so that has the characteristics of a plug, and memela, it's kosher. Says Gemara, Gemiri Chavrayo de Rabbi Abba ben Rabbi Abba, Umanu Rabbi Zero. By the way, today's shir is sponsored by Dr. Epstein, Lilu Nishmas.
Leah Devorah Bat Zev.
Leah Devorah Bat Zev.
Where's the blood?
Now,
My wife's sister.
last night, I got a not such a good phone call from a relative of mine, a very close relative, who doesn't want me to talk about it, but said that I just discovered the machla. So I also want to make a small tefillah. I can't really say the name yet until it becomes more, they know exactly what's going on, but it's not good. And I'd like to make a tefillah. If everybody can just answer Amen at the end, it's l'refuas. I'm going to say, Shubayach Havisinu. Refuas HaNefesh, Refuas HaGuf, Hashto, Bagalov is Makariv and Imar Omein. All right, Shkoyach. He should have a refuah shlema b'karev, and only psuris toivus. All right. Zog the Gemara. Gemira Chavrayo de Rebbe Abba mi Rebbe Abba. So the friends of, there's a lot of names here. It's a little confusing, the names, but it just, the daf is not as long as you think. The friends of Rebbe Abba, they learned from Rebbe Abba. Who's the friend of Rebbe Abba? Uman Rebbe Zera. Va'amrila, and some people say, Chavrayo de Rebbe Zera mi Rebbe Zera. The friend of Rebbe Zera learned from Rebbe Zera, Uman Rebbe Abba. That what? Omar Rebbe Abba. Berei de Rebbe Chia bar Abba. Rebbe Abba, the grandson of Rebbe Abba. In other words, Rebbe Abba, the son of Rebbe Chia, the son of Rebbe Abba. He was named after his grandfather. He said, Omer Rebbe Chia bar Abba, Omer Rebbe Yochanan, halacha ki Rebbe Shimon Gamliel b'treifa. The halacha is like Rebbe Shimon Gamliel that we just said, that if the intestines has a hole and it's plugged by the mucus, then it's a good plug. And v'halacha ki Rebbe Shimon be'evel. And the halacha is like Rebbe Shimon when it comes to avelos. The Gemara is going to explain. Halacha Rebbe Shimon Gamliel b'treifa d'amar. We just said that a plug, a mucousy plug, is considered a plug. Rebbe Shimon be'evel mai. What is this? This nan kol shleishi yomer rishonim ba me'makim karev ma'neiman. What happened was there was a levaya, unfortunately, and one of the relatives missed the levaya. When does the person start sitting Shiva? So if he's coming from a close place, now if we were to think, what's a close place in nowadays? What's close? You live close to your parents. What does that mean? You live a half hour away, right? An hour away. Over here, close means 24 hours away. That's close. So if he lives within 24 hours of where the Levaya was, where they started Shiva, then he has 3 free days. In other words, if he shows up 3 days after the Levaya, Shalom Aleichem, he sits 4 days. He has 3 free days. If he comes from a far place, he has to sit all 7 days. After 3 days, even if he comes from a close place, from 24 hours away, he has to do 7 days. Reb Shimon is very mekel. Even if he comes all the way at the end, they're davening shachris on the last day, and they're about to say, this guy, this Chaverman shows up 7 days late. Shalom Aleichem, I'm here. Sit down real quick. He sits down. He says, everybody says Habokim Menachem, and he's done.
He finds out about it on the 7th day?
No, he arrived there. It discusses. It goes by the old. If he's there, it goes by when he starts. Whatever it is. But
He doesn't have to keep the halachas wherever he is or while he's traveling? What does that mean?
that I don't know. But he doesn't have to sit on the floor. He doesn't have to do this. Let's say he found out 5 hours before. He was in Ramat Bet. He was far away. He had no idea what's going on. They just buried his father just a week ago. He just found out. He shows up. Shalom Aleichem. That's it. His shiva is 20 minutes, and that's it. That's the mekel. Shita Samekel is Reb Shimon, and we're saying that Allah is like him. Afilu b'yom hashvi b'am bakim karev ma'nei ma'im. Omar Mandu says the Gemara. Interesting story. There was one of the Talmidim. We have no idea what his name was. We don't know who it is. He said, "Eski ve'esak ve'egmer l'shmaito mepume demaro." I wish, I hope, I could do Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael, and I could hear this halacha, that the halacha is like Reb Shimon, and the halacha is like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel by Treifa. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. I want to hear it from Reb Abba, Reb Chia bar Abba. That's what I want to hear it from. I want to know if it's true that he really said this. Kisolik, you can imagine. He finally gets his chance. His whole entire life, he's waiting to go to Eretz Yisrael to hear it from Reb Abba. He finally gets to Eretz Yisrael, right? No planes. He's on a camel for months upon months. He finally gets there. Ashkechel Reb Abba, he's so excited. He gets to Reb Abba. He's Breder Reb Chia bar Abba. Omar Lei, Omar Alochik Reb Shimon Gamliel b'Treifa. No, I want to hear from you. Omar Lei, Ein Halacha Amri. No, I said it's not halacha like Reb Shimon. Oops. Okay. That was okay. Fine. Now one more shot. So the halacha is not like Reb Shimon when it comes to treifa. So what about it by avelus? Reb Shimon be'evel mai amalei pluktaninu. Did Rav Chizah Omar halacha v'chein Omar Reb Yochanan halacha. Rav Nachman Omar ein halacha. So bottom line is he got about 25% of what he was hoping to get. because he knocked out Reb Shimon. He said the halacha is not like him. Then he said, "There's a machlokes in Reb Shimon. By the way, the halacha is not even like him. La halacha is not like him." So B'kitzur, he didn't get what he wanted. The Gemara doesn't say if he moved back to Bavel or not, but whatever. He didn't get what he wanted. Says the Gemara. Ve'ein halacha Reb Shimon Gilil b'treifa. V'halacha Reb Shimon be'evel. But the halacha is like Reb Shimon lemaisa at the end of the day when it comes to Elos, Tomer Shmuel. Halacha kedivri hamekel be'evel. Anytime you have a machlokes and one person is Michael, the halacha is like him. Omer Reb Shimon bar Chiyah makifim b'vnei mayim. We had this concept a few days ago, whether or not you could compare wounds. So, what's makifim b'vnei mayim? You have the intestines. You have some sort of aver that you're not sure when the wound occurred. When did this whole happen? It's very possible that it happened after shechita. Yesterday we had a concept that if the shochet thinks that he stuck his hand in and he wounded the animal, he punctured a hole with his knife, with his finger, toilet. Now we're talking about a situation where he can't be toilet on his finger. He didn't touch it. Everything was good. They opened it up nicely. And all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they're not sure. Maybe a machine touched it. He doesn't have this clear that we had yesterday. So what do? You take another part of intestines and you make a hole in it. And you compare holes. If they have the same coloration, it looks the same thing, then you can assume that it happened after the shechita. But if they look different, then the one that came out first happened before shechita and mela the animal strafe, and the one you just did now is just a test. Hanu b'nei mayim.
We said you can't do that, where you can't compare because it's going to change.
By buoy, by blisters. You can compare blister to blister because blisters change colors one to the other, and there's no comparison. Says the Gemara. Hanu b'nei ma'ayim da asul l'kamei de Rava. You had these intestines that came to Rava.
Walked right in there.
Where?
Just keep going.
Oh. Akfinu v'loy idmu. So they did a comparison, and it didn't line up. Also, Rabbi Shai Berei. So Rabbi Shai, the son of Rava, showed up. Mimash mishmu v'idmu. So he started feeling the ma'ayim, and eventually it turned to the same color as the shaila. What happened? They brought him a ma'ayim, and let's say it looked black, the hole. So he took another piece of ma'ayim and he punctured a hole in it, and it was brown. So he said, oh, they don't compare. So Mela, the one that's black happened before the shechita, and the one that's brown. So son shows up and says, listen, that's not the way to do it. Let me show you. He starts feeling it. He touches it a lot of times. All of a sudden it turned black. And now there's a nice comparison. So Rava, the father, says to him, Omalei minolacha, who told you this trick? Who told you to do this? You're right, but who told you? Omalei, kamo yodi mashmeshu bahani mikamei delesa lekamei demar. So he says, I saw it on my own. I figured this out on myself, says Rashi. It was logic, because how many people touched this and tried to figure this out before it came to Mar, my master? So here's a son calling his father master, not Abba. Very interesting. And I figured it out on myself. Amalei.
How many people are touching before? No,
There was a hole in the intestines.
Right.
So the sheikh looks at it and he starts going like this, like this.
That's why it turned black.
That's why it turned black.
I should touch
This piece that you did a test on, nobody touched. So it's not a good comparison. Let me touch it until it has the same amount of... What? What are you saying?
Actually, maybe you said ma and not abo because you can't stay aloch in front of your father. It's not a cover.
Ooh.
It's a shaila, you're not allowed to say.
And if you say married, it changes things.
Maybe it's much more choshev. It's like giving back the cover back to his father.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
You're fit. Yeah. From now on, Chaim, you have to call your father Mar. All right.
Mr. Marty.
Omar lei chakim biri betrefois k'riyochanon. Does anybody remember this lashon? We had it like a month ago. But Rava said it in the first mice. He said it to another son. He said it to Rav Yosef. So it's interesting that Rava tried to give compliments to his sons, but to his sons he said the same exact compliment to both of his sons. You're as smart as Rabbi Yochanan Treifus. Rashi over there says the same thing as he says here. There's two ways to understand it. Either you're as great as Rabbi Yochanan in general, or when it comes to Treifus, the Gemara later on says that Shmuel sent 13 camels of Treifus to Rabbi Yochanan because in Treifus he was considered a huge mumcha. So when it comes to Treifus, you're like that. Fine.
12 camels.
Who?
12.
Rashi here says 12 camels. The Gemara says 13. Yeah, very good. Thanks for the ara.
Why 13 camels?
What? I'm not sure why Rashi says 12. The Gemara over this says 13. Maybe there's a different gear to there or something I didn't notice.
Bringing the camels,
What?
5 on one of them, and 12 camels were carrying the trephis.
Oh, very good. He's saying there's 13 camels total. One was for the driver. The 12 were, but that's not what the Gemara says. Zog the Gemara.
Otherwise, why is Russian
Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Elazar, Amr Tevayu, Mekifin Bereya. So again, so what I said before is really on Reya. When the Shaykhid, we said yesterday, I was talking about Reya, not a Ma'im. When the Shaykhid sticks his hand, and you could be toilet, but over here you can't be toilet on the Shaykhid. So you could compare piece to piece when it comes to a Reya. Let's see what it is. Omar Rav Amar Lebayis Haruga. Says the Gemara, it's only in the same row. Meaning, if this is the lung, and this has 3 unois, and 3 unois and a uma, and this has 2 unois and a uma. The large one is uma, 2 total, 3 over is 4. So you can only compare the right side with the right side, and a hole on the left side with a hole on the left side. You can't compare. Yeah, so that's what the Gemara is going to say in a second. You can't go from right to left. They have different colors. But no. Afilu, you see the Shulchan Aruch passings like this. Afilu me'aruga la'aruga, you could jump from the right to the left. Medako ledako, umegasa legasa, according to the preferred Pshat and Rashi, I could go from una to una, but not from una to uma.
Even if it's on the same side.
Even if it's on the same side. Avaloi megasa ledako, veloi midako legasa. The unas and the umas, they have different characteristics, the different size, they perform differently, so Mamela, their holes are different, you cannot compare one hole to the other. If you have a kana that has a slit in it, and you don't know when that slit happened, you have reason to believe that the slit happened after shchita. This is the kana. So you make another slit in it, and you compare slits. Also, we had the Gemara that there's a door in the kana. So what do you do with the door? There's a flap, you put an isar. So the size of an isar. So you make another door and you check it out. Only in that chuya. These are chuyas. And we said over there, and we said the same thing here, a chuya is 3. Just like by tzitzis, we say a chuya is 3, so over here is 3. That is referring to the door, because the door needs more room, it needs 3. Ava mechuya, the chuya, 3 of these guys, 3 ridges, 3, what are they called in English? I don't know.
So only
1, 2, 3. You see these ridges that the kana has? 3 of these.
The rings.
So, rings. Tracheal rings, very good. Tracheal rings. Huh?
So what is it? So when do we say like each other?
Because the Gemara is talking about 2 separate things. The Gemara is talking about a psukas hagargeres, but also a door. The door flap is a different size. It's the size. It needs an isser. So mainly we're talking about 3 chulias. The psukas hagargeres is a different size. V'hilchasa afilu. Sorry. So within the 3, it has to be within those 3. You could go to another 3 down the line on the kana. Says the Gemara, so the Gemara is saying over here, should have a picture somewhere. Oh, what's the bar chuya? Like we saw in the beginning of the Masechta, that the chuya is thicker over here, and by the time it comes to the bottom, there's only flesh here. The cartilage stops. So the bar chuya, if you make a line down the middle, so everything here is bar chuya. It's a weaker cartilage, and memela, the hole in the kana is very different than the hole on top. You can't compare holes. So that's bar chuya. You can't go from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. Omar Ziri Chalchoiles Shinikva Ksheira. Oh, Chalchoiles is what we were talking about before, the final tube before the waste comes out of the body. And here's a nice graphic picture. This is Chalchoiles, the rectum. Nikva Ksheira. Why? This is a very interesting halacha. what is the problem usually with the whole intestines having a hole? We're so a small hole. The intestines has, as we know, bile and all these acids and all these things in there, and it has the waste, a lot of toxic stuff and waste. If there's a hole in it, it could seep out into the body and kill the animal. Right? The famous Pella Bria, that the acid in the stomach could take a piece of metal and deteriorate a piece of metal. Even zinc. You put a piece of zinc in there, in the acid of the stomach, it'll deteriorate. But the stomach itself doesn't deteriorate, right? Pella Bria. It has a certain membrane that protects anti, which, by the way, the body replaces every 3 days because it's so sensitive, and if it has a tiny hole, that's what ulcers are, etc., etc. So here the Gemara says we have a very unique case. Because of the proximity of the hip bones and the tail and the spinal cord and everything else, it basically, if you remove the rectum from here, the tsoya, the waste, will just come out of the animal and won't go back into the animal, won't cause any problems because you have such a tight space. You don't even need the tube. You can get rid of the tube. The whole animal has a tube. It created a tube with the pressure of the bones and everything else here. That's all the Gemara is saying. So Mela Nital, if all this is gone, get rid of this red, animal's kosher. Fine.
One seep into the body cavity. The liquid one seep into the body cavity.
Right. It's not. Now we're not even talking about liquid. Now we're talking about waste. Yeah, waste. It's already a solid form, but waste itself going back into the body would cause real issues. But over here, it's not going to go back into the body.
From what point on?
Oh, says the Gemara. Vikama. What point? Where it's held a roiv, basically in this area where the bone is holding it. So beruba means that usually we have two shiurim, a mashu. If there's a hole of a mashu, the entire intestines of a mashu, it's treif. Or if it's beruba, it has to have most of it gone in order for be treif. So mokim hadevik beruba over here means that even if most of it is gone, it's okay. But if it's not in this place where it's held tight, a little bit further down, then even a small hole would make it treif. Amru Rabban Kamei the Rav Mishmei the Rav Nachman Omar Lav min Amina Lochu. Didn't I tell you Lo Titnu Be Buki Sruke Buki Sruke? Didn't I tell you don't listen to empty pots that people say about my Rebbe Rav Nachman? There's a few times in Shas he uses this lashon. This is just emptiness. People don't know what they're talking about. That's not exactly what Rav Nachman said. Rav Nachman. Mokum Adevek. If
took his words out of context. Okay.
Exactly. This stomach number 1 is a pretty large instrument. By the way, I saw in Tmuni Chol, he said that from here to here, he laid it out on tables 5 feet long. So this is a serious. It's like the size of this table, basically. This whole ma'arechet. So the keres. What's keres apnimi? There's a keres apnimi. Let's go back to the Mishnah. What does the Mishnah say? I wasn't there, so I don't know. If it's a large animal, a tefach, beruba, and if it's a smaller animal, it's beroiv. So it's either tefach or roiv. What is this keres? What's apnimi? Omer Rabbi Omer Rav, Heyid Nasan Bar Shilo, Reish Tabochayit Tzipori Lefnei Rebbe Mishum Rebbe Nasan. He said, Ezi keres apnimis, that a keres apnimis is keres apnimis Sanya Devi. This is the place where even the wolves don't eat it; they hate it. By the way, we had a few cases already with the wolf, 2 cases at least that the wolf grabbed the thing. And yesterday we had the wolf. The wolf it'll eat the intestines, but this part of the intestines it doesn't touch. It's so disgusting that even he won't touch it. Here's a picture of Sanya Devi. This is the keres apnimi.
Colon?
No, the hadur, the kanto that looks like a cinnamon bun. That's the colon, but Sanya Devi is this round thing over here.
What, it does a bad taste? What?
Yeah, it has a really foul taste. There's too much bile, too much stuff in there. He won't eat it. Yeah. V'chein Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcho, Sanyo Devi. Rabbi Shmuel Omar is tumcho de kreisa. Now, if you look closely at this word, it's very interesting. Stomach. You see this word? Is tumcho de kreisa. Rashi says he doesn't know exactly what it is. Ravasi Omar Rabbi Yochanan mokim tzarish bakaris ve'eni yoideya ezu. So it comes to Ravasi. What?
He writes here that it doesn't exist in humans, but the nearest analogy is the appendix in the human. Animals don't have an appendix.
Animals don't have an appendix, right?
But humans, but it's that
area
that which has an exit.
That idea.
Okay. Comes Ravasi and says, "I'll tell you where it is. It's a place in the Karas, and I don't know where it is." So the Karas basically fell in a pit. You're not telling me anything. You didn't add anything to the Tower of Shiloh. We said, where is it? Yeah. But he says, I don't know where it is. Minameitzar means not. When I was learning, I was thinking about Nachman on Rosh Hashanah. Minameitzar. So over here it goes downwards. What? Menachem, I meant. That's what I really meant. Seriously. The Baltukeya. But thank you. Thanks for the... Can always count on you. Put me in my place. Anyways, it comes down. So this is the Mokum. It says over here that the Mokum is over here. From Minameitzar, when it starts, the keres becomes narrower. Rabbi Yaakov bar Nachmani Omer Shmuel Mokum Shein Melas. It's a place that doesn't have woolly hair, says Rashi. They would remove the woolly hair with hot water. Not exactly sure where that is. In this picture, it's this green pipe. It's the one tefach that goes from the veshet into the keres, the last tefach. Amri b'mar Rabbi Mishmei Rabbi Yosef v'Chanino kol hakeres kuloi zehi keres apnimis. The entire keres, all this is keres apnimis. So then what's keres achitzonis? Where is the keres achitzonis? Basar hachoifes revakores. Rashi says it's a membrane, otherwise translated as a muscle. It's the muscle in this picture, like this pink line over here, the muscle that holds in the kares. Rabbi Rabbeinu Omar mafrato. What's the pnimi? It's called a mafrato. My mafrato. If this animal is upside down and they slice open the stomach, everything that you see within that slice is considered pnimi. Ben Ardo avdi k'Rabbi Ravuna. In Ardo, they start one slice over there is the masher, like the pnimi. What do we do with everything we just learned? Sani Devivi, Istamka, the Melas. We had a few things. We had this guy. This is the pnimi. Then we had the hairy part. Then we had the stomach that we don't know what it is, and he says that might be the appendix. But what do we do with all these shitas? You cut it open. How does that fit in here? Says Gemara, Omalei. Once you open this up, it's all there. They're all included. You have the Sanyidivi and you have the Stamka and everything else. What about the Rashi Rabbi Yochanan who says it's a Mokum Tsar? We already said it's Minamei Tsar, Menachem's thing. So Mela, it's also considered. You can also see it when you open up the stomach. With the Ravina. When he says it's a tefach hasamach leveshet, but it's all the way up here. You see the green, it's up here. You don't see it when you slice open the stomach. He says the Rava says the entire stomach, the whole keres, but the entire means on top also. Once you open up, you can't see it. You're right. Those two I can't figure out according to what we just said. By the way, there's a very important Rashi here. I think if you look at Rashi Maskil Mai by the wider lines, Mai. You have it. Where's it by you? Mamish by the wide line over here.
Third wider line.
Okay. Rashi says we go l'chumra, and then he says umiu. Kol hanach trevois. All these things in the stomach and the intestines. How come we don't check today? We have to be soymech on roiv. We don't have to check it. What do we check today? Lungs. So skip a line, and Rashi says, since it's very common, batkinu basrayu. So here you have Rashi holds that all these things you don't have to check for, unless obviously it falls into your hand and you see a problem. There's no reason to go check the intestines for holes, and you don't have to blow put pressure. Sirchas you have to look for because they're very common. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'gdoila. Rabbi Yehuda says a larger animal, the shear is a tefach, and a smaller animal is roiv. Omer Rabbi Yom bar Yefes, Omer Rabbi Lazar, lo gdoila mamish, lo ktana mamish. Doesn't mean a large animal like a cow and a goat. Ela koil shenikra bo tefach v'lo haveruba zu sheninu b'gdoila tefach. In other words, it's one or the other. It's whichever comes first. If you have a keres that has a hole the size of a tefach, then it's treif. And if it's a roiv, that's that. So whatever kol shenikra tefach v'lo haveruba, if you could get to a tefach before you get to the roiv, zu sheninu b'gdoila tefach. So this is a larger animal. Ruba v'lo have a tefach, and if you could go and you say roiv was open in the keres and you didn't even get to the tefach, so that's a much smaller animal. So over there the roiv works. Ruba v'lo have a tefach. If you have a roiv and it's not a tefach, pshita, we have a concept in the whole Torah, ruba kekuloi. So what's the big chiddush here that roiv works? What happened was that in another centimeter it's going to be a tefach. It's just under a tefach. So I would think don't use roiv because I'm right here. I'm already at tefach. Let me just use the shear of tefach and jump to tefach. Mashmalon that I use roiv. Tosfos says I don't understand this. He says it's a roiv. The whole time you say ruba kekuloi. So why all of a sudden now it's saying no? Use the next shear called a tefach. Somebody has a different girsa completely that's talking about a tefach and a mashu, not a mashu less than a tefach. Omar Geniva Omar Rav Asi Nigdera Kesela Treifa. If in the keres you have a hole the size of a sela, it's treifa shimti motach tam oidal tefach. I didn't bring it, but let's say you have a rubber band. You have a circle that's the size of a sela. And you take the rubber band and you make it straight, so that will be a tefach. Because if the circumference is a sela, meaning the circumference is 2 tefachim, you flatten it out, what do you have? 1 tefach. On the bridge going into Naharda, kesela kshera, if it's the size of a sela and it's kosher, yasem kesela treif, it has to be slightly above a sela. The island plus kashyasa betzipa beduchka beloi tzipa berachva. Maybe I was just thinking now. Maybe the pshat because I didn't understand. I took three of these. If you take 3 pits of a date, the circumference is less than an inch. I checked it out. It's less than an inch. So how do you have a circumference of 2 tefachim with 3 dates? Unless that's what's more than a sela. Maybe that's what the Gemara means. Because or those dates were huge in those days. Okay, we'll finish right over here. Everybody should have a refuah shlema. Everybody should have a great day. Tomorrow night. Yeah, whoever's interested, I'm restarting up the Hebrew Shir Sikum on Thursday night. Tomorrow night is going to be my house, but hopefully it's going to be in Beis Tefillah. And Rabbi David beforehand at 8:40. My shir starts at